Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking on a source that it just plunges you straight into the heart of identity collapse. Paranoia.
It really does.
You shared this incredibly detailed first-person story with us. It's about a pizza delivery driver who runs into, well, what he thinks is a family of doppelgangers.
And it's just a perfect, terrifying piece of psychological architecture. I mean, our mission here for this deep dive is really to unpack those details, the small physical clues that take our narrator from just basic confusion to this absolute violent certainty.
Yeah.
It's a story about cognitive dissonance,
Yeah.
taken to its most extreme.
Yeah.
Every time he tries to rationalize what's happening, it just makes the reality he's fighting even more terrifying. We're going to track his whole descent.
Okay, let's unpack this right from the start, because the story immediately starts destabilizing your sense of reality. And it does it with the environment.
The environment, yeah.
The weather is a character. There's this intense rain. It's blurring everything, cutting off visibility. And his job is so impersonal. The pizza comes out of a gimmicky vending machine setup.
No human connection.
None. It's this insulated, non-human world, which kind of makes him vulnerable to that first profound shock.
What's so fascinating is how the narrative breaks your trust with the mundane. It does it through the senses. The key moment happens before he even gets to the house.
The spilled slice.
The spilled slice incident, yeah. The car jolts, the slice slips, and he gets soaked in this warm red liquid. Now, you'd expect it to smell like pizza sauce, right?
Of course.
But the source describes it as some weird oil or just this excess pooling. It doesn't smell right. It doesn't feel right. But the sauce on the pizza itself, it looks fine.
So he literally feels that something is wrong on his shirt, but he just dismisses it. He chooses the visual of the slice looks okay over this really profound sensory fact that the liquid isn't right.
And he shoves it back in the box, thinks to himself, the customers won't complain. He's just dismissing physical reality to maintain this, transactional normalcy.
And that pattern of denial, that's the whole foundation for his collapse.
It is. He ignores the weird oil, that physical marker of disruption, and he just continues the delivery. And that leads him straight to an address he's never seen before.
To the girl who opens the door.
A perfect duplicate of his little sister.
And I mean perfect, down to the details that only a family member would notice. She's 7, she has these 2 loose puffs of hair, 1 front tooth missing, even the chipped nail polish.
And the little forward rock on her toes.
Yeah, which raises a question, right? Why be so hyper-specific? If the goal is just replacement, why not a generic kid? Why include these intimate flaws?
Because it's the difference between a copy and a mirror. The narrative isn't just trying to scare him, it's confirming his memory. These copies are built from the most intimate data points imaginable, but then that perfect visual is just completely undone.
By her eyes.
No familiarity in her eyes. The perfect physical presence is met with total emotional absence.
It's designed to just short-circuit your brain. You see your most familiar person, but they're a complete stranger. And that's where the real cognitive battle begins. He tries to rationalize.
Maybe she's at a friend's house.
But come on. How often do you deliver a pizza to an exact, down-to-the-toes replica of your own sister?
The only way to fight that impossible reality is to call the original. And this is where the narrative just, it's a masterstroke. He immediately calls his mom.
And she doesn't answer.
Doesn't answer.
So now you have this unbearable pressure cooker. He can't reach the originals, but the copies are right there, 20 feet away, visible through the window.
So he circles the house, squinting through the fog. And what he sees next just solidifies everything for him.
The whole family unit.
The whole unit, impossibly intact. The dad copy is reading a newspaper, completely calm. The mom copy, the very one who didn't pick up his call, is just scrolling on her phone.
It's a perfect picture of normal family life, but it's stolen. It's there, but it's unreachable.
But the truly devastating detail for him, the one that shifts this from a weird coincidence to an actual invasion.
The dog.
The family dog. A sudden sound. And the dog, the one he thought she had run away months ago, slams against the window, snarling.
And that detail is so pivotal, because if the copies are just replacements, they should only replace what's currently there.
Exactly. The dog was gone for months. This suggests the copies have everything the originals had, including the lost parts. Which you have to wonder, if they have the things the originals lost, does that mean there's somehow a better version?
A more successful version of his family.
Right, and that just feeds into the narrator's fear that he, the original, is the one who's surplus to requirements.
They aren't just replacing his family, they're replacing his whole life. And maybe doing a better job. The terror isn't just about lookalikes anymore, it's about his own redundancy.
Absolutely. And as he drives home, we get the final proof of this double reality. He sees the fresh red smears on his upholstery, that reminder of the initial spill. He gets to his actual house, and the originals are clearly there.
And he knows because of the little things. The familiar proof points. He sees the family car with that specific dent in the front bumper, that comforting imperfection. And inside, the anchor points are everywhere. Dad's sneakers with the grass stains, Mom's worn flats, his sister's little light-up shoes.
These are the silent, intimate pieces of evidence that confirm the impossible. Two perfect, identical realities exist at the same time, just a few blocks apart. He goes into the master bedroom, sees 3 sleeping shapes under the covers. The originals are home.
So the copies are real, the originals are real, and he's the only one who knows.
And that brings us to the next stage.
Yeah.
Once your reality fractures like that, you face this existential crisis, and he doesn't get help.
No, he seeks certainty, he chooses action, and this is really where the descent begins.
And his action is driven by this deep need for validation. The next morning, he stalks them. He follows the copies all the way across town to West Grove Elementary, his sister's actual school.
And seeing the sister copy in the exact same uniform just seals it for him. The proof is undeniable.
But then we get that crucial, terrible reminder of the beginning. While he's at the school, the woman at the front desk, she notices the red stains on his shirt.
The weird oil. It's been on him this entire time, a marker of the path he's on.
And he dismisses it again, mumbles, "Pizza sauce, delivery incident, it's nothing." He just refuses to acknowledge what that red stain really implies.
Because acknowledging it would mean acknowledging what caused the split in reality in the first place.
Which is something much, much worse than doppelgangers. It's the ultimate self-deception. The evidence of his crime is right there on his chest, and he insists it's just a work mishap.
So the narrative it escalates. From stalking to confrontation, he watches the copies come home to his house, greet each other.
Engage in perfect domesticity. And the moment they leave again, the narrator makes his move on the copy house.
The break-in. That's
Yeah.
the final step before a total moral collapse. He smashes the back window. He's searching for answers, for evidence of a conspiracy.
But all he finds is more replacement. Diplomas, wedding photos, family records, all matching his family's history. The copies haven't just replaced the people, they've occupied his entire life story.
And that's where his investigation turns into weaponization. He rips open a drawer, desperate for a clue, and he finds a stack of documents. And beneath them, wrapped in a hand towel,
A revolver.
a revolver and a box of 6 rounds.
And finding that gun is the turning point.
Yeah.
Instantly, he goes from terrified investigator to armed vigilante. He's ready to eliminate the threat.
But he doesn't have time to even think about it because the copy of the family dog attacks him.
Right.
And he's forced to injure it violently, shoves it against the wall. The investigation is over. The violence is now absolute.
So he waits, in the dark, armed, silent. When the copies get home, their laughter stops the second they see the injured dog.
And the confrontation begins. But his questions, they reveal that this isn't really about who they are. It's about who he is.
Exactly. He's waving the gun, asking, "Who are you? Why are you copying my family?" But then you get the most twisted, heartbreaking line, his final question.
Why is there no copy of me? Am I not good enough?
And that's it. That is where it gets so interesting. The horror isn't some external monster. It's internal self-loathing projected outward. The copies, just by existing so perfectly, confirmed his deepest fear, that he was the disposable part of his own family.
So he's not destroying them because they're invaders.
He's destroying them because they are living evidence of his own redundancy.
And the copies, they stay so calm. Terrifyingly calm. The dad copy just offers these cryptic reassurances like you're not them or don't start acting now.
It sounds less like monsters being exposed and more like people trying to de-escalate someone unstable.
But he's too far gone. He is locked into this idea that he's the hero. He makes them use duct tape he brought to tie their own wrists and ankles. He ties the father himself.
And he tells them where they're going. We're going to see the real ones, the originals.
So he drives these terrified, bound people to his own home. He's shaking, sweating, just completely consumed by this need for validation. He has to make them admit they're fake so his world can snap back into place.
He drags the dad copy toward the master bedroom, where he knows the originals were sleeping. He flips the light switch, and the truth is finally revealed. And it's so much more gruesome than any doppelganger story.
The sheets, they're stained with dark red splotches, soaked through, crusted around the edges.
The originals are dead.
And that stain on his own shirt from the beginning of the drive, it suddenly has a terrifying new meaning. The copies weren't invaders. They were substitutes, trying to maintain the facade of a life after a catastrophe.
A catastrophe he either caused or witnessed and then completely repressed.
The dad copy sees the sheets and he lets out this broken sound. He asks, why? Why are you showing me this? He sees the truth the narrator has been pathologically refusing to see.
But the narrator can't tolerate that truth. His response is immediate.
Yeah.
Absolute. He raises the revolver and shoots the dad copy twice.
The collapse is total. He uses his final minutes to just systematically eliminate everyone who knew the truth. He executes the mom copy, shooting her beneath the left eye, watches the blood spray the window.
And then the terrified sister copy. Twice in the chest. He just watches the body slump. He destroys the replacement family he had convinced himself was a monstrous threat.
He goes back inside the house. It's saturated now with that coppery, thick smell of blood. He sits on the couch. The revolver clacks onto the table in front of him. He's alone.
And we're left with that final horrifying detail. One shot left. Sirens approaching in the distance.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? This narrative is just this chilling exploration of the psychological architecture of paranoia. Once he committed to this false belief that he was being invaded, every single piece of evidence.
Even the ultimate gruesome truth that he was the killer.
Right. It was all twisted to justify more violence, more self-deception. He thought he was confronting a conspiracy, but he was just enacting a cover-up against his own memory.
And the key takeaway here is that his sense of inadequacy, that central wound of, am I not good enough? That was the true monster. The paranoia about the doppelgangers was just the mechanism that let him destroy the innocent replacements, the ones who tried to fill the void left by the family he had already murdered.
He was protecting his shattered identity by making sure no one survived to reveal the original crime. So he sat on that couch in his blood-soaked home, one bullet left, waiting for the police. And we have to wonder, was that final shot intended for himself, to close the circle of destruction?
Or, knowing his pattern of destroying anything that challenges his reality, was that bullet waiting for the very first person, a police officer, a neighbor, who walked through that door to witness the catastrophe he created?
You have to wonder, in a world of copies and replacements, who did he think he was protecting with that last piece of brass?